So in 2024, April 15, 2024, so this is just over 2 months ago, he was stabbed by a 16-year-old Muslim assailant who had gone to his mass service and ran up to the pulpit with a switchblade and stabbed him during a Sunday service. Some of the background, this video where Marmari is addressing a message to Andrew Tate.
And let me say this to Andrew Tate. If you think that Christians are cowards, you are mistaken. Jesus Christ is love. He came on his first coming as mercy. Love is the most powerful thing ever to exist. And it is the weakest thing also ever to exist at the same time. Love is the most powerful and the weakest at the same time.
So you can see he's calling out Andrew Tate here. And if you don't know who Andrew Tate is, consider yourself blessed. But if you need me to fill you in, it's a little bit hard to give a short description of Andrew Tate. But Andrew Tate is a popular but also infamous male influencer who also is really extremely popular, or used to be, kind of before the platform started cracking down on him on TikTok and YouTube Shorts and stuff like that. And he has this very hyper masculine persona. He often has his shirt off with his muscles out and is often smoking a fancy cigar and might have supercars like Bugattis and Ferraris in the background and girls in bikinis wandering around and stuff like that. He's basically like a teenage boy who plays Grand Theft Auto. He's like their fantasy. And if you wonder how did he make his money, he made his money mostly by putting girls on X-rated webcams and taking all of their money that they made on this. And this is getting him in legal trouble. You could sort of get the impression. Andrew Tate was famous for converting to Islam because it was a tough, manly religion and stood up for itself, whereas Christianity was just weak and lovey-dovey and turned the other cheeky. And so Bishop Marmari is saying these things sort of in response to that.
When the time comes, love can be also very, very powerful.
I'll just quote, Paul here. 3 times I pleaded with the Lord to take it away from me, this thorn in the flesh. But he said to me, my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. Therefore I will boast all the more gladly about my weakness, so that Christ's power may rest on me. That is why, for Christ's sake, I delight in weakness, in insults, in hardship, in persecutions, in difficulties. For when I am weak, then I am strong. Andrew Tate doesn't quite like this sort of message. He sort of likes the, weakness is weakness and strength is strength, as opposed to the confusing message of Christianity. All right, so here's my Andrew Tate impression. Finally, the Christians are angry. I don't know why it's taken you so long. Even as a Muslim, even as someone who has recently reverted, it gives me genuine happiness to see the Christians finally happy about something. You have gay preachers, LGBT drag queen story hour at your flippin' churches. You sit around and turn the other cheek. You have no cheeks left to turn. There is nothing in this world without masculine rage. It's the bottom line of everything. There is no country without men who are prepared to get angry and defend it. There is no idea, there is no house, there is no religion without masculine rage. They bred it out of you. And for the first time in a long time, we see Christians actually angry about something. When I see Christians actually angry about something for the first time in a long time, it makes me feel happy. The piece of poop which tried to stab the preacher, I don't care if I'm defending a nation state and I was a sniper and I had the opposing nation's preacher in my sights, I would not pull the trigger in the middle of a sermon. There's no excuse for that. This person deserves the harshest possible justice. And guess where he's not going to get it? He's not going to get it in some cow manure Australian prison. He's going to get a lawyer, and the lawyer is going to talk about his human rights and his mental health, and he'll be back on the street soon. And even while he's in jail, he'll be living better than most people around the world even live in Muslim and Christian nations. The piece of poop deserves an eye for a flippin' eye. For the first time ever, Christians are actually standing up. If Christians stood up, the Western world wouldn't be failing in real time. I say this as a Muslim. All of the problems of the Western world is down to an absolute lack of faith and conviction within the Christians. That's how they get away with all this garbage. This is not about Muslims versus Christians. That's not what this is about. This is what they want. We need more God, not less God. We need more men who are prepared to stand on God and fight for God. It's the atheists. It's the people who believe in nothing. They are the ones pushing and purporting the ideas that are destroying your society. They are the ones who are trying to destroy your family life, poison your children. I have no problem with Christians. I embrace Christians as my brothers, and I'm finally happy to see you standing up for yourselves. I truly pray this piece of poop gets what he deserves. Okay, and Andrew Tate impression. Sorry, or you're welcome for that, whichever you thought. So you can see in this Andrew Tate message, this, he's valorizing the mob that was outside the church that wanted justice on behalf of Marmari to bypass the Australian justice system. And he's happy to see Christians angry. And it's weird, like there's this weird mix of truth and falsehood in Andrew Tate that is part of what makes him appealing and part of what makes him very dangerous. Are all the problems in the Western world due to a lack of faith in Christian conviction? I bet there's a lot of Christians who would agree with that. But what exactly Christian conviction should look like is not what I think Andrew Tate is proposing, where there's just anger and masculine rage and standing up for yourself. What about turning another cheek? Andrew Tate doesn't have much patience for turning another cheek. You have no cheeks left to turn. But isn't that exactly what Jesus said to do? To forgive not 7 times, but 70 times 7 times? Anyway, that's Andrew Tate's reaction. Strength is made perfect in weakness.